like to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. and it's January 14th, 2020. We are in the Joe N. Idolette Teacher Education Center. At this time, if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, which will be led by Sebastian River High School Navy Junior ROTC under the direction of Lieutenant Commander James Landis, United States Navy retired, and Master Sergeant Michael Halsey, United States Marine Corps retired. We could show our students how much we appreciate them for coming out on a Tuesday night. Thank you. Always enjoy those the presentations from our students. Welcome Dr. Moore. Dr. Moore, we're going to have a lot of firsts with you. Is this our first regular business meeting with you, correct?
Sitting up here, yes, ma'am.
Well, we're excited to have you and start the new year off this way. At this time, we're going to adopt the orders of the day. Are there any items board members wish to move from consent to action?
No, but I'd like to amend the agenda.
Okay.
I'd like to include an action item where a board representative will attend the Treasure Coast Council of, let me make sure I got this right, Treasure Coast Council of Local Governments, and officially join as members. It's $200 a year. I'd like to add that as an action item. I'd also like to add a discussion item that we discuss whether or not to make future meetings, maybe not tomorrow's meeting because it might be too short, I'm not sure. But I'd like to add it as a discussion to just changing the equity committee meetings from auditory to video when we go to that research that was brought up by Dr. Schiff today in our discussion item.
Do you want to discuss that, or do we want to take action on that?
I did confer with our attorney. I think it has to be a discussion item, and then if we decide to take action, we can move it to amend the agenda again as an action item. Is that correct?
But ma'am, I thought we discussed it today and we're just gonna take action on it.
It was recommended. It was recommended by the attorney to. Mrs. D'Agresta, can I get direction on, so for sure we have to go from discussion and then we can move it, or can we go straight into action?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. My hesitation is I recall the board approved protocols about a year or so ago. We don't have those protocols in front of us, so I hesitate. I'm not really sure what we need to amend on those protocols until we have that document.
So you'd
Okay.
like to, so may I ask, Mrs. Bamberg, you'd like us to discuss it this evening and then at our next board meeting, make the change?
In our
Once we have
discussion, we can
protocols?
discuss where to go with it.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Okay.
Okay. All right. So with the amendments, we have the action item and then the discussion item. Need a
Move
motion.
approval. Second.
Mrs. Justice, care to speak to your motion?
No, ma'am.
No.
No further discussion?
We'll
All in
discuss it
favor?
at discussion.
Okay, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Okay, we're going to move on to our presentations, and at this time, I'm going to recognize Dr. Moore for a series of presentations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We start with the best items. We start with students. Our musical talent tonight comes from Pelican Island Elementary School, 4th and 5th grade students who rehearse in their after-school program under the direction of Miss Heidi Evans. The songs they will be performing are Shadowland and The Circle of Life from The Lion King. So as they come up to perform, board, when they finish their selections, will go down and take a picture with them. So sit back, enjoy, relax, and check out the talent in Indian River County. I think we should go down and watch from the audience.
Good evening. We would like to perform two songs for you this evening. Our first song is from the musical The Lion King called Shadowland. The second song called Circle of Life is an instrumental version of the song using djembe drums, rain sticks, cymbals, and recorder. We are a combination of 4th and 5th grade students who have been rehearsing in the 21st century after-school program. We are also a part of the cast of characters in The Lion King. We will be performed in April this year. Thank you for having us, and we hope you enjoy our music.
Buenas noches, me gustaría tocar dos canciones para ustedes esta noche. La primera canción es del musical The Lion King, llamado Shadowland. La segunda canción, llamada Circle of Life, es una versión instrumental de la canción que usa tambores y djembe, palitos de luya, platillos y flautas de roca. Somos un congreso de estudiantes de 4º y 5º grado que han estado enseñando en el 21st century. También formamos parte del elenco de personas de The Lion King que se presentará en abril de este año. Gracias por invitarnos y esperamos que disfrutes de nuestra música. remember on dry land, tears stain, dry land. Take this with you. Mossy journey may leave you like this breath
All right, we started by celebrating students, and now we're going to celebrate teachers, our freedom fighters who stand in front of our students every single day. We're going to highlight a video, something that is absolutely unique to Indian River County. It was one of the first days I was here. They put me on a bus. They called the bus the Prize Patrol, and it was a celebration where each of our 5 board members had the opportunity to hop on the bus along with myself, our public information officer, Kristen Maddox, and we went to each and every single school in which either one of the 5 teachers or one of the 5 support staff was selected as the district's finalist. Went into their classroom, went into their office area, surprised them, swept them up, gave them a plaque. Dr. Moxley was still here. I had the opportunity to join along with her. Celebrated them in the space in which they do their work. Then we swept them away, took them to lunch, had a delicious lunch, and we will continue to celebrate them later in the month as we identify our district teacher and support staff of the year. And to highlight that work and that celebration, we have a video to show you. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Maddox, your Public Information Officer, and today is such an exciting day. It is our Star Patrol Day, and we are picking up our 5 Teacher and 5 Employee of the Year finalists. Our theme is 80s Glow Party, and we are about to load the Star Patrol and surprise all of these people in their schools and classrooms.
Well, congratulations so much. You are one of our finalists for School-Related Employee of the Year. We want to congratulate you for being one of our finalists for School-Related Employee of the Year. Hi, how's everybody? Congratulations, you are one of our finalists for School-Related Employee of the Year for Indian River County. Thank you, congratulations, yes. Miss Lewis! So Miss Lewis, congratulations, you're one of our 5 finalists for Teacher of the Year! We're so excited, we appreciate you, love you, thank you for everything that you do for us. Calling Mrs. Morgan! Congratulations on being one of our finalists for School-Related Employee of the Year. We appreciate everything that you do. Oh, congratulations!
So as you saw in the video, it was a rainy, ugly day, but spirits were high, and it was a true celebration regarding the impact that teachers and support staff have on our students each and every single day. So it was a great, unique idea that the district puts in place. Unfortunately, Kristen Maddox, who leads that work, isn't able to be with us tonight, but we should acknowledge the work that she does, as well as acknowledge the hard work and efforts of our teachers and support staff. So one more round of applause for that initiative and that work. Our last recognition of the evening. Each month, our district has a Casual for a Cause Day. This is a day that is designated for students and district employees to have the opportunity to make a contribution to a predetermined organization in exchange for a day to dress down. Tonight, we recognize our November Casual for a Cause, the American Cancer Society. We'd like to welcome Jenny Davis, Community Development Manager from the American Cancer Society. And we will also play a short video, and then we will present her with a check in the amount of $4,348. Do we have a video?
You can just play it self-explanatory. I'll just follow up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Actually, Jenny Davis is unable to be here tonight as she is not feeling well, a little under the weather. So I am her senior manager for the Treasure Coast. My name is Teresa Woodson, and I've lived in this community for a long time, have several family members who have been involved in the school district and are still. But my reason for being here tonight is my role with the American Cancer Society and my privilege to partner in our community. So the mission of the American Cancer Society, and yes, I have to do this, wait a second, much better, is to save lives, celebrate lives, and lead the fight for a world without cancer. The video you just saw leaves no question of the celebration we experienced at Riverside Park on October 12th. Tonight, I'm here to thank you for the partnership with the Indian River County Schools as we together are leading the fight for a world without cancer. The Casual for a Cause October initiative supporting Making Strides Against Breast Cancer as a collaborative effort of the schools within the district placed your team as number 6 among 98 registered fundraising teams. The Indian River County District Schools raised $4,348.40 in its 5th year, bringing the total to more than $23,000 over that period, funding the mission of saving lives through research and supporting breast cancer patients through a variety of services and support resources. So how does this impact our people facing cancer? Last year in Florida, the American Cancer Society Transportation Program provided 50,368 free rides to cancer-related appointments. 41,892 nights of lodging were provided to patients who had to travel distances for outpatient care. We were able to provide 40 prevention and early detection grants to help improve the health of communities in Florida, and we provided information, direction, and programs to nearly 31,000 people living in Florida. In addition, we have hundreds of wigs in our office on State Road 60 in Vero Beach, where our local residents who are in cancer treatment can come and be fitted and provided with wigs at no charge. We also continue to support our local community with prevention and education materials through health systems and large employee health fairs. Cancer may invade one body, but it is a disease that impacts entire families, traditional families, work families, church families. The American Cancer Society is available to talk to anyone at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and handles more than 1.4 million calls a year. Our bottom line impact since 1989, a 40% decline in breast cancer deaths. That's 348,000 lives saved from breast cancer alone. Our children are impacted by cancer when a teacher, parent, grandparent, or other family member or friend is diagnosed. I don't know about you, but I just put a face with every single one of those categories. The American Cancer Society has a variety of tools available to help teachers, help children learn good habits that are proven to impact the risk of cancer. In addition to our gratitude for Casual for a Cause, I would like to return a plaque this evening for display at the district office with the addition of the 2019 Relay for Life Top Fundraising School. Gifford Middle School holds this title for the 6th consecutive year, raising $3,018 last year. We could not do the work we do, we could not save lives, celebrate lives, or lead the fight against cancer without partners like the Indian River County School District. We thank you for your interest, your energy, and your successful fundraising efforts. I have a token of appreciation, a certificate recognizing you as the 6th top fundraising team in Indian River County for making strides, and our plaque. So we've been tracking this. It's actually interesting to note that Gifford Middle School owns each plate except for 2, Osceola Magnet in 2010 and Liberty Magnet in 2013. So they've done a phenomenal job over the years. And we also brought along a basket of some of our event shirts from the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk, and we hope that you'll share those with the champions from each of the schools that help to promote the Casual for a Cause and engage their schools. So thank you so much. We truly, truly cannot do what we do without you.
Back. I'll make sure it gets up.
Did you see this?
Okay. That concludes our presentations, Dr. Moore, correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So Kristen Maddox is probably at home saying, no, you're not supposed to do it that way, you're supposed to do it this way.
yeah.
She's such a perfectionist when it comes to helping us through this. At this time, let's see. I gotta grab my glasses down here real quick, sorry. Okay, now I can see. We are at the portion of our citizen input. We have several individuals that are signed up tonight. We have first that was signed up was Mrs. Stacy Clem and Jackson. Then next we have Mrs. Cannon. Then Mrs. Parentella, Ms. Freeland, Mr. Stewart, and then Mrs. Murray.
Oh, this is a little awkward. Okay. Hi, I'm Stacy Clement. This is my son Jackson. Jackson's device handler broke today, so he cannot say hello to you, but he does have a communication device where he can do that. I wanted to come tonight to address Dr. Moore. I wanted to welcome you. And I've read a lot about you, and I know that you want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, and I have a lot of the bad and the ugly. And I thought about that on my way up here, about how I could tell you some really bad stories of how we were treated in this district. But I think the best thing for us to do tonight is just to talk about how we can move forward. Because I've had it. I've had how my son's been treated. I've had how school board members have treated us. I've had it with principals who lied to us. We're in a good place now. Jackson's at Storm Grove. It's a great school. He has a great principal, Miss Bieber. He has an amazing teacher, Miss Smeltzer, who has somehow figured out Jackson, and my son over Christmas break started spelling. And for the first time in our life, he can spell love and tell his father and I that he loves us, and that means a lot. It means a whole lot. So we're really delighted to be at Storm Grove. But we've really had a tough time in this district, and you and I are going to meet next week, and I'm going to tell you all those tough times that we've had, because I think things need to change. Because I know that when I have tough times, that there are parents behind me that are going to have tough times, and there's parents before me who've had tough times, and I'm not going to let that happen anymore. You're the rock star. Everyone talks about you being a rock star. And if you're a rock star, then I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to hold this district accountable, because I've had it. I've had how our ESC students are treated. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is change attitudes in this district, including members of the school board, because we've had bad attitudes from them. You're going to need to work on the continuum of services, because when you take a whole group in elementary school and silo them down in middle school, you face the consequences of what we faced, and months of crying and months of frustration of not being able to find a school for our son. That's not okay. I don't want parents behind me to go through that. The ESC PAC is reforming. You have an opportunity to be part of our ESC PAC and listen to what the parents have to say, which is another area you need to reach out to our ESC families and our parents, because they have a lot to say, and they've been through a lot too. Our transition program. You have an employee in this district by the name of Joanne Pagano. If you're a smart man, you'll pick up the phone tomorrow and call that woman, because if you want to have a good transition plan and a program in the school district, you could be the best in the state under that woman. She has ideas that will blow your mind, and if you want to make sure that kids like Jackson, when they age out at 21, go off to be successful in life, you're going to need a good transition program. And the last thing is inclusion. Dr. Rendell's idea of his inclusion was to throw kids like Jackson in a classroom and don't give the teachers any support. So we have a bad taste in our mouth in this district about inclusion. That's not what inclusion looks like. That's not what inclusion is. You need an inclusion specialist in the school district. But most of all, I want you to know that my son, like my shirt says, is not broken. And when people in this district treat him like he's broken, then those are the people that are broken, and those are the people you need to fix.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Clem. Thank you, Jackson, for being here.
Good evening. Liz Cannon, President of IRCEA. and welcome, Dr. Moore.
Thank you.
Past practice has been that teachers have received their summative evaluation scores in October and performance pay in November. With the impasse hearing occurring in October, it was understood that there might be a slight delay in that traditional timeline. On November 12th, Interim Superintendent Dr. Moxley stated that the district would try to have performance pay and checks by Christmas, but ensured that it would be in our checks January 15th. I followed up the next day, and Dr. Moxley said, definitely by January 15th. Since that time, I have asked several times when we would be receiving our summative scores, knowing that if we have not received our scores by now, Dr. Moxley's promise would not be fulfilled. Dr. Moore responded to IRCEA on January 8th that we are making every effort to get most teachers' performance pay in by January 30th, but there were still nearly 400 whose summative scores have yet to be processed. When IRCEA reluctantly agreed to go with the status quo on the TEP manual for 18-19, we did so in order to expedite the process. The 18-19 TEP manual was ratified on November 6th. There really is no reason the student performance scores could not be completed in time for the January 15th deadline, other than if doing so was not a priority for our district. The problem is that teachers have not felt like a priority in our district. We have to treat the 18-19 school year like it didn't exist in terms of contract language, because the district was unable to hold on to the necessary personnel to make it happen, not because the teachers were unwilling to work with them. We were not happy with the target date of January 15th, but at least there was communication with a specific target date. Now no one knows when it will happen. Additionally, I was just informed that the district is planning on not applying the retroactive performance pay in the same manner that they have done in the past due to limitations with Focus. My understanding is that rather than providing a bulk sum of retroactive pay for the 11 paychecks received without performance pay, including tomorrow's, payroll is planning on dividing the performance pay among the 13 checks still coming. This is unacceptable. Teachers were counting on the bulk sum of previously earned performance pay as they have received in the past. We have told the board that there would be consequences of not using our performance pay plan, and here is your first consequence. The retroactive pay can be anywhere from $360 to $596. With the alternative plan, it would be reduced by nearly $300 to $400. The teachers have already earned this money. Why should we have to wait even longer? The district should make a special payroll run and directly communicate with those individuals who will be delayed even further. I have heard each of our board members state that they want to build a collaborative relationship with IRCEA, but this is not how to do it. We are once again suffering the consequences of a district that does not follow through on their promises. It's time to make teachers a priority. We have brushed aside long enough. Both Brevard and St. Lucie counties have made strides in the past year to make their teachers a priority. When will you? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Cannon. Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah.
After? Okay. Dr. Moore will speak to that after we have all our speakers. Hi, welcome.
Good evening. Diane Parentella. Frustration is defined as the inability to change something. I know many teachers in this district who are feeling very frustrated with their inability to change something. The thing we teachers want to see change is the way we are treated. Teachers deal with testing timelines and gradebook deadlines all the time. What would happen if 429 teachers missed their gradebook deadline? How many teachers take work home to grade? How many teachers work on lesson plans from home? Work over Christmas break? I know I did. If you count the days of school from November 13th to January 10th, it's 30 days. If you figure that all the teachers needed their scores calculated, that would be about 39 teachers a day for those 30 days. If you figure that only 429 of those teachers needed their scores calculated, that would be about 14 teachers a day, 2 teachers an hour in an 8-hour day. Who's responsible for these calculations, and why are we still waiting for our money? Money, by the way, that should be on our 2019 tax returns since it's retroactive to August. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's Ms. Freeland. Hi. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So, good evening, board members and Dr. Moore. I have not stood here in front of you before, but I feel I must speak up. I have heard a lot of talk recently about building trust with teachers. I have heard how important it is that teachers feel valued, respected, safe to continue learning and perfect their craft. Because when teachers feel they are valued, they are more loyal, they become invested emotionally, they stay long-term, they work harder and become master teachers, which in turn creates environments where children feel valued, respected, safe, where they can learn and they can reach their full potential. I fully agree with this sentiment. My upset and quite frankly my anger is because yet again it feels like just talk. In fact, if teachers were valued and respected in this county, we would not have to beg for pay we have already earned. Before any more excuses are made, let me clarify just a couple of things. First, the TEP manual, as Liz said, was ratified back on November 6th. It was status quo. With status quo, past practice would have resulted in performance pay being paid to teachers retroactive and before winter break. We were told by the county that because of new pay scales, it would take time to calculate, but they would try to have performance pay to teachers before break, but definitely January 15th. I myself relayed this information to fellow teachers in good faith. I heard the talk of trust, and I trusted. Alas, I have been made a fool. To my great disappointment, this is not going to happen. Yes, I heard the reasons and the excuses. Second, the pay scale is a mess, just as Liz Cannon told you it would be at legislative hearing. Even the magistrate agreed. But your minds were set, and you sent us teachers away with a lot of apologies and heard nothing. Well, board members, this mess is your own creation. This isn't the teacher's mess, and we should not have to suffer because of it. A great majority of teachers live paycheck to paycheck, and the holidays are often very tight. Right or wrong, this is how teachers survive. We are relying on that money. We have been relying on that money. This is how you create trust. This is how you show your respect to teachers. This is how you show teachers they are valued. This is shameful, and teachers hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Stewart?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Dr. Moore. Teachers, I do applaud you. I was at the rally yesterday in Tallahassee. I was there. I applaud you. You're 100% right. You're overworked, underpaid, and disrespected. And I do concur with you. We were a lot better when we didn't have lotto money, when the citizen was paying for the school supplies and the teachers. But I'm not here for that tonight. I'm here because I happened to see on TV today a closed meeting that you all had discussing the desegregation order. And I kept hearing Dr. Moore speak about transparency. And I found that to be relatively disturbing, because the meeting that you all were having discussing the desegregation order, I felt that at least NAACP and the Equity Committee probably should have been on it. Let me finish, and then I definitely want to hear from you, because there were some things that you had said that had to do with statutes, Florida statutes, that did not allow quotas and ratios to be included in a 1967 desegregation order from a federal judge. And I heard you quote from the Equity Committee plan and referred to it as the 2018 desegregation order, which is not true. This is a plan, and I see on here the second sentence that is in here. It says, in furtherance of this goal, the school board will create an equity committee that reports directly to the school board and shall be responsible for monitoring and documenting compliance with the August 2018 desegregation order, referring to itself. I gave you a copy of the 2018 order, which was signed by Judge Kathleen Williams. And in that order, it does state that to the extent the issue have not been mooted, the parties are under continual obligation to comply with the court orders of 1969 and 1994, which means this is not an order. This is a plan that you're hoping at the end of 3 to 5 years that the judge will sign this as an order. And we need to make that known to the public. We need to make that known among ourselves, that this is what you're trying to get done, and you need the help of the people who are involved. I found it offensive for you to discuss what's going on with the black kids of Indian River County, the NAACP of Indian River County, and don't see any of them in the meeting.
Mrs. Stork, may I?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I think part of my responsibility is to ensure everyone hears the truth. I think everyone has the opportunity to come and stand at the mic. It is your right, it is your freedom. But I need to ensure in receiving that information that there is clarity in regards to the reality. It was a publicly noticed meeting. It was an opportunity for me in which anyone could have come to sit, listen to me, update the board regarding a hearing that was held last Friday. And I make a commitment to this board. I make a commitment to the NAACP. I make a commitment to the Joint Committee when they meet, that we will establish and implement a plan that is open, transparent, and honest. And I'm willing to meet anyone, anywhere, go and have a conversation, regardless of where that conversation would be. I'm here to, you had your opportunity, now it's mine. Now it's mine. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You had your opportunity, and now it is my opportunity. We will schedule a meeting. I've had meetings from the time the sun rises until the time the sun sets. I'm willing to do the work. And I would ask you to evaluate me based on my actions and my ability to lead. So this is an opportunity to move forward. This is an opportunity to establish a collective plan, a collective vision, in order to ensure we address some things that are not appropriate in this county. And this is the conversation this board has directed me to begin to have, because it is right and best by kids. So under no circumstances was there an intent or a desire to exclude anyone from this county in regards to the public conversation we had regarding the expectation that this board has for me to work with the NAACP, to be transparent, open, and honest with the Joint Committee in order to ensure we are on the same page. We're doing the difficult, complex work in order to move this district forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Murray, welcome.
Good morning, Board, or good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Evening.
or evening.
Feels like it's just a continuation always.
Yes.
Welcome, Dr. Moore.
Thank you.
Frustration and obsession is where we're at right now. This performance pay issue is not a surprise. I mean, it's something that we knew was going to be happening. And I really am hoping that we can start being, the district can start being proactive, not reactive. This really should have been started way back when. We knew it was going to be happening. Once we were staying status quo, there was no reason why the ball couldn't have started to be rolled. But it isn't, and we're now in this dilemma. As teachers, we are entitled to what we've already earned, what we've worked for, and it shouldn't be spread into payments. We've earned it, we've worked for it, and we need it. Payments, the payment option shouldn't even be something that's on the plate. But I do have two questions in regards to this, because I do have people that I have worked with. I have some teachers that had retired in January. Now, what are they going to do? Are they going to get their money? That's the question. Secondly, There are a number of teachers that are getting ready to go out on maternity leave. This payment option means they don't get their money, because when they go out on maternity leave, they don't get paid if they don't have the days off, which most of them do not have 12 weeks of pay. So now, where are they going to be? So it needs to be given as a lump sum so that they at least have it. And we need to be following up with those that have worked if this winds up not coming to be till February 15th. Because there are some teachers that are going out on maternity leave, I know, next week, and they can really use this money. So, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Moore, would you like to speak to this matter?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So to our teachers, this is an opportunity that I'm really looking forward to almost fast forwarding. And some of the issues that I'm experiencing now, I'm unfamiliar with. Because it's not how I operate, it's not how I drive the work of the individuals who are in a district to support teachers. So as I begin to speak to you, I feel very, very uncomfortable because this is not a common conversation that I have to have. But I have to start somewhere. And I begin this walk inheriting this lack of communication, this lack of priority. And what I can say is that I'm sorry. It should have been at the forefront of this work. And if we make a commitment, whether it is Dr. Moxley, who is no longer here, or myself, we need to organize ourselves in a way in order to ensure we uphold the words that we say. We will be in evaluating some of the frustration in regards to the bulk pay, which I was made aware of today. We will honor the bulk pay, and we will make sure the teachers have that bulk pay. That's my word to you. We have taken every step necessary to change job assignments, to pull people from other responsibilities in order to ensure that these dollars are provided to you. So we are working as quickly as we can, given the scenario, in order to do it. And it was a meeting that was in my office today. I don't care who we have to pull, but it is complex work that ultimately provides dollars, and we have to get it right. So there are opportunities moving forward, which is not what you want to hear, to reorganize the district and be proactive and build capacity so there's just not one individual doing this work. And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the reality right now. On the 15th, in February, teachers, the majority of the teachers, the 800 teachers, at least the 800 teachers, will receive their retroactive pay and their pay moving forward. We are going to do everything in our power to ensure that the remainder of the teachers get paid by the 15th. So this is hard. This is hard work. It is work that wasn't strategically designed in a way to move it as fast as you would have liked. This is me saying we will, honor the retroactive pay, bulk payment, and we will ensure in the future when we say something, we honor that. And when we make a mistake, we don't make excuses. We don't talk around the issue. We are human. Reserved perfect for Jesus. Everyone else, not so much. But we will own it. We will treat you with the respect and dignity that you deserve because of the work that you do. So once again, I apologize. This is not a standard practice for this school board or this district any longer. Thank you.
Can I, a clarification on something that you said, Dr. Moore? A bulk of all the teachers by the 15th of February, which was the 800 and so, well, can you repeat that?
On the 30th.
On the 30th.
Will be the 800, if not more. So we are working expeditiously to get as many as done as possible. When you get to these unique situations and unique teachers, it becomes a more complex formula, pulling from multiple data points that we have to ensure that it is correct. We could do a formula, we could put it into a quicker process, But when you're running that formula with the system that we currently have, it would result in overpayments or underpayments, and I do not want to have that happen.
Okay, so 30th and 15th.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have a concern about the fact that, we moved over to Focus, and I know we discussed it a little bit, and I discussed it with other people, that Focus was part of the issue here. So how are we going to ensure that that's not a continuing issue, so that we don't have to apologize again, so that we don't have this problem again, so we move forward correctly?
Focus is unstable. And no, they're like, yeah, no kidding.
It's not so in Focus?
What's that?
It's out of Focus?
It is in Focus. I believe the district made a decision to go to Focus last January.
You don't know what I meant.
Oh, no.
I was teasing.
Just making a joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's out of
I'm sorry.
Focus.
No one's laughing right now, Chair.
I'm sorry.
They were.
They were,
No.
that's good.
Focus is unstable. It is a new system. I think in a district this size, as well as when you bring in a new system, there will be bumps in the road. Familiar with Focus, but not in some of the areas in which we're using it in terms of payroll. To be quite honest with you, I've never had a conversation with anyone across the state of Florida who uses Focus who speaks too highly of it. And I know there have been a number of districts over the last year who have been frustrated with Focus. So it's yet another opportunity to really to work with the vendor to problem solve, to get it where it needs to be, or begin a bigger conversation regarding the systems that we're currently using.
Not sure that that was a happy answer, but hopefully we can run this a little bit better next time, or test it so that we don't run into this problem.
My expectation is that we have a contract in place with plenty of time to clearly define what pay needs to be processed, when it will be paid, and we'll be able to present models. I think when you are reactionary, you set deadlines that have not been thoroughly thought out. And once again, that's just not a way in which I work. So as we go to the negotiation table and we make deals, I think those negotiations will go significantly better when they know that we're going to honor our word and we have a plan in place and can display how we're going to move through the system in order to ensure these kinds of uncomfortable conversations are a thing of the past.
Thank you.
I just want to respond because I want to be sensitive, but I want to be honest too. This board member only received my first email discussing this issue yesterday. So, as far as I'm concerned, everything was moving smoothly and teachers had gotten paid. This is the first time yesterday that I heard that there was an issue and that teachers were not getting paid. So obviously between yesterday and today, I hadn't had a chance to talk to Dr. Moore about it. We've been in meetings all day about other things. So really, though I've seen some of the emails that have come in between yesterday and today prior to reading these emails, I'm assuming we were on track. I don't understand what happened. I really don't. And I'm sure that Dr. Moore will fill us in terms of what happened. I mean, I don't know. So I know that I was in conversations with Dr. Moxley. I know that I was in conversation with Dr. Moxley, and yeah, she said before Christmas. The goal was to get teachers paid before Christmas. So whomever is in charge, and I think part of the issue here, from what I'm understanding, and I actually was flipping through some of the email scroll, the emails that were going back and forth. There were some emails that were sent out that were never responded to until one was sent out December 18th, Another one from that same person was sent out January 7th and still hadn't received a response. So there is a big problem with communication in this district, and that's part of the frustration. And if we were responding to emails and letting people know exactly what's going on, we probably wouldn't be, even if we had issues with focus, we probably wouldn't be here having these kinds of conversations because we are letting people know what is going on. That's part of the transparency, right? Responding and communicating with what is going on. And that is a big concern. Of course, obviously, if focus isn't doing its job somehow or another, we've got to figure that out, but focus is fairly new too. So now I'm very concerned that we're gonna keep going around in this circle. So I apologize because, like I said, it's public record, you can go into the email and say, I did not receive any communication on any issues prior to yesterday's email, or at least the first one that came in. So, I understanding that and hearing Dr. Moore now respond to you all, he's obviously been in meetings with the powers that be, I suppose, and they're gonna make it happen, and unfortunately, we're just gonna have a little bit longer of a wait, but Dr. Moore, thank you for being on top of this and for honoring the promise that was given to the teachers prior to you coming on board.
Mrs. Justice.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
want to
did
say
you
I'm
want-
sorry. There was a commitment made for December 15th, and I was sitting here and I heard it, and it didn't happen. We weren't aware of it. We are now. Thank you for being honest and transparent, addressing it, and we need to do better. So, you say the powers that be, we are the powers that be. We didn't know. I mean, I don't mean about, we are kind of the powers that be. We have staff. I mean,
Yeah,
there's-
but we don't
We don't?
monitor the daily, day-to-day operations. That's not our responsibility.
You are correct, and we do not, and that is not our responsibility. So we did not know, but I will apologize on behalf of the district. I mean, I'll own the responsibility because it wasn't right. So I'm sorry, and thank you for working to fix it. I hope it never happens again.
There's two of us.
Dr. Schiff?
So my first thought is, Lord, I'm tired of the dysfunction in this district.
Yep.
I'm so tired of it. My being tired of it, however, doesn't make it better. And I could say I hope and pray, but really it's more I will work with the board and with the superintendent that we are not sitting here with this same dysfunction a year from now, because I'm probably not over it in the way that you are, but I'm over it. And to Ms. Parentella, to Ms. Friedland, to Ms. Cannon, and to Mrs. Murray, I know it's a day late and a dollar short. Quite literally, I have never so literally said that expression in my life.
Seriously.
But I add my apologies. We are only as good as the information we receive. And like Mrs. Rosario said, I too only heard about this yesterday, and if that's because I missed it, then that's on me. And I get that. But I say to people in this district all the time to please communicate, because I can't address it if I don't know it. And then what happens is we get this flurry of emails. Again, if this was something that was said, that was promised, that I should have been more on top of, again, that's on me. And my apologies don't put money in your paycheck. So I want to acknowledge that it feels perhaps as hollow to me as it does to you, but I still feel compelled to say it. And I appreciate that I honestly believe, and a year from now we'll see if my belief and my trust is well placed, that we are on the road to something fundamentally different than where we've been in the past, as evidenced by some of the conversations we have from this dais, from our superintendent, who, what I hear from this superintendent is he is not giving you a bunch of excuses, but owning the dysfunction, which in my experience on the board and prior to that is a departure from past. So I'm hoping that that continues to be something that that we own our mistakes and we fix them. And this district will never be without mistakes, and it will never be without we are unlikely, like any school district, to ever be without problems. But we do our best. We will continue to do our best to communicate, to be transparent, and to work with teachers and students and others in the community. On that, Mrs. Klim has left and Mr. Stewart has left, but I also want to say, if they're watching the tape, that I appreciate their comments and that I really appreciate citizen input. And to people who consider coming to citizen input, I hear that as valuable information that I need to know and I need to hear as a board member. So please keep talking to us, whether it's in that format or in another, because we can't fix it if we don't know about it. And I know that I've spoken with Ms. Klim many, many, many times in the past about the experiences that she's had. I know Dr. Moore in his interview talked about attention to ESE, and I'm confident that he will address that. Dr. Moore, you said also in your interview, and you've repeated it a number of times, including tonight, that this level of dysfunction doesn't work for you. And this level of we don't have systems in place so that we're always chasing our tail and we're always running to catch up. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those systems. And as I know, you are probably holding yourself equally, if not more, accountable than I and other board members are holding you to get this cleaned up. So just thank you for your comments. You know, my apologies, and I really do mean it when I say I do want to work together moving forward. And that doesn't mean we're always going to agree, because we're not. But it means that we're going to be in communication, I hope. So
Thank you.
enough pontificating for me.
No, and I appreciate Dr. Moore and the board speaking to this, because a lot of times we'll send emails in a rush and trying to respond to issues like this. And I want to say, I recognize talk is talk, right? But it doesn't pay the bills. So even though we're saying now the 30th and 15th, I do want to apologize. I know I have 4 kids and 3 grandkids. I understand this is the toughest, time of year for most families. So of all times to be expecting an extra paycheck, this isn't the time. So my heart goes out to you, and I truly am saying I'm sorry. I know it doesn't pay the bills like I just said, but I do have faith in Dr. Moore that he's going to get this district on the right path that it needs to go. And I feel like Dr. Moxley was going in that direction, but it was that transition period. And unfortunately, this is, the teachers are really having to pay for that. And I can't, words aren't enough. So thank you for bringing it to our attention. At this time, what we're going to do, we're going to end our citizen input portion. We're going to move on to our consent agenda. At this time, I need a motion to...
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes. I'd like to thank those that donated for our schools. I see that we constantly have donations to our schools, and it's very appreciated. And I'm hoping that thank you notes go out to those people on behalf of the district, but also wanted to publicly acknowledge that. And also, even though we had this little fiasco with Focus and everything, I'd like to say thank you to Ron Fagan for the monthly financial report. It was nice to see that.
Hey.
Finally, it's nice to be able to see where we're sitting from month to month. And so I look forward to seeing that throughout the year. So thank you.
Mrs. Justice?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for mentioning the donations. There were a number of donations, but there was a couple families that donated to Wabasso School, a beautiful Beats music program. So I would just like if we could maybe invite them for a student performance at the end of the year, if perhaps they'd like to. Just looks like something that would be really neat, and would be great to have the Wabasso School students come and present at the district.
Okay. Any other discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0. Okay. So we added an action item, Treasure Coast Council of Local Government. This is Barenborg. Would you like to explain the item?
Yes, I attended the meeting this past week. It was very informative. There are members from Okeechobee, Martin County, St. Lucie County, and Indian River County from city councils, county commissions, school boards. Am I missing somebody? There were other entities there, such as St. John's Water District and so on. Interesting meeting, a lot of interesting things to follow up on, especially when it came to the presentation on census, which I found very informative. And I really feel like that I'm willing, unless somebody else is, to go to the meetings, but I think we should officially join as a member. The reason why I brought this up as an item is because in the past, we were members, we dropped that, it's $200 a year. I know in our budgets, I have offered to not use the travel money that is budgeted for going to Tallahassee as the legislative liaison. So there's money sitting there that's more than the $200. I'd like to see if we can move that towards joining.
Okay, so Terry has the motion, correct?
Yes, I made a motion.
Wasn't that a second?
No, we have a discussion coming up next.
Okay, so we're voting on whether or not we're going to join, and we can do that without, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Would you
Move
like to speak
approval.
to your motion?
Yeah, I think it's great. Did someone second it? I'm sorry, Mrs. Lord.
Mrs.
Great.
Berenborg made the motion.
I made the motion
Oh, okay,
to,
so I
you made
second.
the
I
second.
apologize. Yeah, I think it's great. Terry, thank you for going. You gave a really great explanation today during our workshop when you did committee reports regarding the Treasure Coast Council of Local Governments. I only see it as advantageous that we are a part of it. I think that any information that you can bring back to us is great. If you need help in some way, please let us know. I'm happy to help if needed, or to fill in if you need someone. I think we've figured all that out. But if you need an alternate for it, I think we maybe all would be interested in, filling in if need be. So thank you for taking the initiative. The more work we can do in problem solving as a region, many issues, education, environmental, the better off all of our communities will be. So thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Afterwards, I can appoint Terry to,
unless there's somebody
Any-
else that really wanted to.
and then I have an alternate already that's volunteered.
Okay.
So
Would anyone else serve as an alternate? Would anyone
Well,
else be interested in
and-
going?
it's
Even if you're the representative and you're the alternate, it doesn't preclude anybody else from going.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right, because we'd be members.
Is it a voting position, the position that you said?
It is. It is.
I believe it is.
Okay. So one person would be there acting as the representative, but you could also attend separately if you wanted to. It's public.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I do know, I brought it up this afternoon, but affordable housing and the census were the big hot topics. And we're moving forward with working together to maybe put a legislative platform about affordable housing out there. And if you didn't see this afternoon's meeting, please do on that.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? 5-0. Okay. That was the only action item that we had tonight. We're moving over into, let's see. This is typically, 1 second. Okay, superintendent's report, then we'll have the discussion. Dr. Moore?
Thank you. Just a few announcements in terms of the work that we're doing and the work that we look forward to doing. Tomorrow, as I'm sure you have heard or hope that you have heard, I will be having a town hall meeting, which is an opportunity really to begin the conversation regarding the re-envisioning of our district, identifying where we are doing things that are really, really good, as well as identifying opportunities to shift, modify, or develop practice in order to ensure that we have a world-class educational system. It is a big conversation, and it's not just a conversation for me to be having, it's a conversation in which we're sharing the reality and then charging ourselves as a community to go back to our schools, if we are a teacher, administrator, school staff employee, or a community member, and find opportunities to participate. And the frustration that this board feels and the frustration that was shared tonight by leaders, teacher leaders, we can either allow that to be the norm, or we could shift and modify our practice. and we can make some bold decisions regarding how we communicate what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And collectively, as a organization, as a community, we can hold ourselves accountable to those defined expectations. I still remain very excited about the opportunity to serve as superintendent in this community. Every day I have found myself in a school, and every day I leave that school after speaking to the faculty encouraged. I know I am where I am supposed to be. But in order to move us forward as a community and as an organization, we really need to have some conversations where we assume goodwill. And when I say assume goodwill, it's time to get to work. And I've heard and I have made the pitch and I have spoke through the transformational work that I have done, but quite honestly, I'm getting tired of talking about it. Because for the last 24 years, I haven't had to talk about it, I just did it. And I haven't had to have situations like that, which I don't think that situation was a bad thing. It is, to me, the evidence to bring us to a point where we need to really think through what are our guiding principles? How do we as an organization define what is important? And how do we collectively as an organization hold each other accountable to those particular standards? To those guiding principles? How do we work together in a complex environment? How do we connect across multiple campuses spread out over a county to ensure that we're communicating and on the same page? It's not easy work, but we need to be willing to problem solve. And we need to be willing to put some perceptions and beliefs that have been established based on previous actions aside. And I can tell you, you will never hear excuses from me. I won't try to create a perception that is not the reality. If we make a mistake, I'll admit it. If there's an employee who intentionally said, well, that's an email I'm just not going to reply to because it's going to have to make me work a little bit harder, that's not Best Buy Kids. I come from an organization and I worked with a group of people who understood their role is to support and empower individuals at schools and found great joy and great love in doing that work. So I have no interest in coming here and fighting through transformation or fighting through the need to shift or change behaviors that are Best Buy Kids. Now, I have no problems having difficult conversations, and I have no problem saying that's the expectation, you didn't uphold the expectation, and this is the action moving forward. And as the CEO of this organization, I will make those decisions and continue to commit to this board, to the teachers, to the community, to the parents, and most importantly, to the students, that we will design, we will implement, we will create a world-class educational system. But we need to come together and we need to do this work. So I'm looking forward, really, after tomorrow, to stop talking about transformation and just do what I do, which is begin to connect individuals around one clearly defined expectation, define who's responsible for what, and begin the work of reorganizing ourselves and redesigning ourselves in a way in which we trust each other, we understand what is important, and we begin to do this work. So it has been a very, very busy, this is my 7th day, if you throw in the Friday from before the break and you don't include the holidays. Remain committed to doing this work, excited to do this work, excited to work for a board that has such a high expectation regarding what they believe and their expectation. But please know, when you have struggles or frustrations, please let me know. Please let me know. Because I will resolve the issue as quickly as possible. And if you find that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then that's the opportunity to speak to your board, my bosses. So that is my update for this board meeting. Looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow or next Thursday. We will provide multiple opportunities to connect and engage in this transformation process and really establish a new or revised strategic plan that clearly defines what our priorities are, clearly defines where we want to be in the work that we're going to be doing year by year in order to ensure that we get there. So, thank you. Super excited.
I don't have the brochure in front of me. Tomorrow night here?
Tomorrow,
Thursday.
okay. So,
Okay.
for the last 24 years in my world, board meetings have been on Wednesday. So I'm at a board meeting, so I'm thinking it's Wednesday. So it's Thursday, sorry.
Did you? Well, hey, at least you're paying attention, right?
Didn't want to interrupt you when you were speaking because it was lovely, but.
So I apologize.
Okay.
Thursday night at
6.
6.
in this room.
Okay, so we're clear. Town hall meeting in this room Thursday night. Everyone is invited, parents, teachers, staff,
And we've done.
community,
And there's another one the following
students.
Thursday.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There's this
Thank you for
weekend,
that.
next week.
All right, now we're gonna move to our discussion item. Mrs. Berenborg, during the musical and the presentations, Mrs. Diagresta and Mrs. Esplin had found, the resolution that the board had passed back last year before you coming on, and, it's actually in the form of a resolution. So with that being said, the thought that I had, thinking that we could just go ahead and take action tonight, that's not gonna happen, but
Right.
go ahead.
That's why I wanted to bring up as a discussion item, because she wasn't clear and sure. I also know that the Equity Committee is meeting, tomorrow? On Wednesday?
Yes.
So I think that's kind of short notice to be able to put videotaping in place. But I'm going to actually turn this over to Dr. Schiff, because she brought it up this afternoon. I think in the ability to be more transparent, her idea of videotaping, I think if you'll just bring it up, because I know it was discussed this afternoon, but what we're discussing for the public to understand.
Yeah, we had a discussion today in our board discussion section this afternoon about how we're going to move forward on the desegregation order, on the joint plan, the joint committee, all of the work that we're going to do in the district to get out from under this. Part of that is by court order. We have a joint committee that's made up, and this is, most people know this, but for purposes of public comment or the public viewing of this, there's a joint committee made up of 2 members of the district, 2 members selected by the NAACP, and then those 4 members together jointly will select a 5th member and a chair. That meeting is scheduled to happen tomorrow night. I know Dr. Moore will be there. I don't know if board members will be there. I would love to have been there, but I teach tomorrow night in Boca, so haven't learned by location yet. What I wanted to do was to be able to watch, at least hear that, if not watch it. So I raised this afternoon the possibility, since that is a board, an arm of the board, it's a board committee, and thus subject to the same sunshine laws as the board, as I understand it, and answerable to the board, I would like to be able personally, as well as to allow any member of the public who wants to be able to see those meetings to be able to do so. So I requested this afternoon that we put something in place so that those meetings are held in this room where there is videotape capacity. So the reason for this discussion is to bring that up, which it now turns out we need a resolution to do, which strikes me as odd, to be honest, that we need a resolution to videotape a meeting.
I don't think
But if that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Is that?
Policy. Go ahead.
Do we need so because it was a resolution, we then need another resolution to videotape a meeting? And I haven't seen it, so I
No,
didn't
that's
read it.
okay,
Yeah.
I can speak after you, sorry.
Can you clarify that?
Absolutely. Back in April, I guess April of 2018, the board adopted a resolution with regard to its advisory committees. And it was for existing advisory committees, which it lists the 2 that were in place, and it also goes on to say all future advisory committees established by the board shall have their meetings audio recorded by staff. And it goes on, and it says the audio recordings of such advisory committee meetings shall be published on the website. So I wanted to see this, I couldn't remember what had been approved in the past. This resolution just needs to be revised however you want it to be revised. Are we just talking about the equity committee, all advisory committees? Because we kind of put them all together the last time. So it sounds like you want to carve one advisory committee away and leave these others in place. I just want to be sure that we understand what we're doing for meeting protocol.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Of course.
I know that with some things, it's possible to take action on something, as amended, right? So is it possible that we can, do we need a whole new resolution, or we can say, we agree that we want to amend this as such, and thus, and have it be done?
Yes, absolutely. At some point, the physical document will need to come back to you. We adopt resolutions by roll call vote, the chairman, has a little process to do it. So the document can come back to you. If you wish to take action tonight to affect the meeting tomorrow, by all means.
Yeah,
amend your agenda to.
I'd like to add an action item. Can I do that? I move that we video the meetings.
Okay, I've had
Hold
my
on one
hand up
second.
to speak after Mrs. Diagresta.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't understand why there was a resolution for something like this. Why wasn't there a policy or a procedure for how board meetings are run, board committees are run? To me, a resolution is a promise for something, right? We had a resolution for vaping. We set a we have had some recent resolutions for something. I just don't understand how that, if you read this, it just seems so.
Dopey.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense why this should have been a resolution. All it's saying is that these 2 committees should be audio, and posted on the website. So anyway, I'm good with even removing that completely and setting a policy or procedure. And this is why I'm actually a little anxious for the FSBA Master Board training, because I just want to fast forward to the module where we can get to start setting our protocols, because this is really protocol, right? This is really how our expectations
There's
are for it.
history
We can
behind this.
include it in there. And the protocols can be fluid. The protocols can be changed easily, whereas a policy, you have to go through, all of the waiting and the posting and the public notice and all that other kind of stuff. The protocols you do not have to do that for protocols. So because we can very fluidly change it, where in this situation, if we had this in a protocol, we can just add the equity committee in there and say what we want with the equity committee. Done. But I'm okay with videotaping. I think it's a great idea. The equity committee is we defined it very clearly today, as Dr. Moore brought back some information even from the judge, and I read from the joint plan, the expectations for the equity committee, for the equity committee, all these committees. And they are a court-appointed equity committee. We, as a school board, let me see, will create an equity committee that reports directly to the school board. So yes, it is court-appointed. Yes, the school board creates this equity committee. It's done. The difference between the equity committee and these other board committees is that this committee is court-appointed, and there is a lawsuit, with it. So I just think it's advantageous to have it videotaped. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't.
Okay. All right. I don't think there's any disagreement on that. Let's just move it forward.
Well, this is my discussion, this is my response
move it
discussion
over
time.
to
And
action.
I would love an explanation as to why this was created for those two committees in a resolution.
Well,
I don't know who was here.
reflecting
I'm
off
just,
of-
I would love
to
to
be honest,
understand the.
Can I, with due respect?
Yeah, of course.
Given that we've got many people here and we've got staff here going back over what happened in the
Right.
past.
Well, I would just like to know
Which is
why,
great,
because
well, we
then
can do
I'll
that.
take back everything that I said and leave it as is. Because if it doesn't make any sense, then I would like to, at a future date, consider coming back to the table and removing it as a
Well, we
resolution.
can do that, we can do that.
So-
But going back through the history now, when we're not prepared to talk about it, when.
Somebody might, you and I don't, because we're not here, but somebody else may have that
Well,
answer.
Let me phrase that differently. So we can use our time a couple of ways, right? We can use our time right now to move to an action item and make a decision for tomorrow night that we'll handle tomorrow night, right? Whether or not this should be a resolution could come back to us at a future time when we could discuss it and we could have it on as a discussion item that we may not be prepared to go into all of the historical detail now, but we can handle this for tomorrow night now.
But we may be able to handle it. But tomorrow, we also discussed that tomorrow may not be as quick enough turnaround,
Okay.
even for staff to record it.
We have a motion on the floor to move.
Wait, do we have to go
this
back
up.
to action, though?
No, we have a motion on the floor to move this to action. I need a second.
Second.
Mrs. Zork, I'd like to propose that tomorrow night's meeting, if possible, and all future equity committee meetings are videotaped and placed on our website or YouTube or whatever we do with all of the other meetings that we hold.
Okay. We already.
Second, yes, I know,
Yes,
we
you
already
already
did
have
that.
it. Well, that was the motion. The first motion was to move it from discussion to
Got
action.
it, that was the second motion, second.
And now this is the action, this is the motion.
Second.
Okay.
I have nothing to add to this.
Go ahead.
On the motion to move this item to action, if we could have a.
Oh, we didn't have a
on
vote.
that, And then go to the second motion for.
I'm just trying to get through this, okay?
right.
It's the
Totally right.
longest no agenda or action agenda that I've ever been through.
Right.
Okay.
So first we have to vote on.
So
yeah.
I need a,
already did
I'm
that.
gonna vote to move this discussion item to action. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Now at this time, we have Mrs. Justice that had made a motion. Would you like to repeat that motion?
Sure, Mrs. Zork. I move that we videotape and record equity committee meetings as we do with the rest of the meetings and publish them on our website or on YouTube, starting tomorrow night, Dr. Moore, if possible, if staff is available, because we will need staff, and in the future.
Second.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna ask this question. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Would you
No,
like to-
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Not that I want to belabor this, but the only thing I will say is, we can vote on this, but whether or not staff can be here, that's my concern.
That's what I
So-
said in the motion. That's what I
so
said.
I'd like to say, do we have to amend the motion to say if?
I said if
Oh, you
staff
did
is
say that,
available.
okay, sorry. There has been so much that I was tuning out for a little while, I apologize.
I feel good about that.
So, yes, no more discussion.
Aye.
She's gonna call the vote
No,
first
no.
before you can vote.
Oh, I have to do this, and I apologize. We're making a motion here, to change the resolution. So that resolution's gonna come back to us in the future, and it's gonna take effect tonight for tomorrow. correct? You're going to bring a resolution back that was,
That fixes, yes,
okay,
that
perfect.
fixes, yes. It will come to you.
Perfect.
I'm
Doing two
guessing,
different things.
on a consent agenda to
We're-
clean it up.
we're
Why
going to,
does it have to be a resolution?
because policy takes a long time.
But
Wanna have
we don't
public
even need
hearings?
policy. I'm just wondering, why is it in resolution form?
You know what?
I just want to know.
Okay, well,
We're welcome to discuss that with the attorney anytime.
yes,
Feel free.
absolutely.
But maybe the public wants to know.
Well,
I-
we'll look it up.
I feel like I'm being shut up here.
No.
When it's a legitimate question. Any other question would be answered. Does anyone on this dais know why
Yes.
that became a
Go
resolution?
back and look at the video on April 24th, 2018,
So
and
the
there
answer is
was a-
nobody knows now.
No.
Okay,
So,
all right. I'll go
It's
back and
faster to
watch.
move, I believe it's faster to move it as a resolution than it is as
Absolutely.
policy. And we want to move
What's
fast
the
on this
date
right now.
again, Mrs. Zork?
April 24th, 2018. All right. I'm going to take a vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, okay. It passes 5-0.
Nancy's pulling her hair out.
All right. 7:39 right now. Let's be, we've been here a long time. We've been here since 9-something this morning. We are going to go into school board member matters, and I'm just asking, can we try to keep it brief?
Yes, ma'am.
So, anyone that, Mrs. Barrenborg?
Mine's brief. Just like to say, I hope Kristen Maddox feels better. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that she's not here, because she's usually our face. I also want to acknowledge the fact that the importance of Veterans Day on our calendar committee. We received some comments about that. It is not a final thing, and it is being considered to make sure that we include all. There was some misunderstanding about what the Veterans Council actually wanted, and so I think that's been resolved. And looking forward to that calendar coming to us in February. Science fair judging. Science fair is January 25th. They still need judges. I would implore you all, if you're available that day, it's a Saturday, it's the best Saturday morning you'll have talking to little kids. If you're uncomfortable about science topics, you can handle kindergarten, first grade, second grade. So I would encourage you all to, there's a link on our website to please sign up, and also encourage somebody else. They're still short judges, and I know that they need some people, so please get the word out about judging. And I wanted to say congratulations to Dr. Moore on being honored with the resolution from Miami-Dade.
Yep.
That's it.
Next one. Okay, Mrs. Rosario.
Yes, though I appreciate that we have staff here, and this, I feel like I need to remind us publicly that this is our business meeting. And so what I don't appreciate is being told that we should keep our board member matters short, because this is the time in which we can share.
We've had a
But I do
4-hour
understand that the concern is for staff, and I get it. But we are still early, and this is the time in which board members can speak. So I had here also Dr. Moore's resolution and the recognition, so I'm glad that you brought that up, Mrs. Barrenborg. So I congratulate Dr. Moore on that. That's going to be tomorrow in Miami. I also wanted to mention his 90-day plan. For those who don't know, Dr. Moore has been working very diligently on the 90-day plan, and it really works in line with some of the things that we've heard tonight with the work. I know that he said that he may be a little tired of talking about, getting the work done, and he just wants to get to the work. And I appreciate that, and I just wanted to recognize him publicly and say that he has been getting a lot of the work done, considering that he's just come on board a few weeks ago, and of course before then as a consultant. His 90-day plan was very thorough, and I checked the 90-day plan in terms of where we are in timeline. His first phase has been completed wholly. There is nothing that was missing in his first phase. By the date in which he said he wanted to accomplish all of those items in phase 1, they were done. So now we are in phase 2, and in checking his accomplishments in phase 2, we are actually already halfway there, and he has until March to finish phase 2. So I know that he is working diligently on that, and I wanted to recognize him for that. So I am excited because I'm looking forward to some of the results that should be coming along. If he is not behind thus far in his plan, I'm sure that we're going to see results pretty quickly. I also wanted to remind people, if they wanted to see his 90-day plan, that his goals are there. And one of the goals that he has on there is developing productive relationship, collaborative relationship, and building trust. That's not one, that's a few. So I'm excited, as I said, looking forward to the work that is still to be done. I also wanted to remind people of the science fair. Students are involved in science fair, and they're looking for judges. So if there is anyone who is interested, you can just go on our website and pull that up. I also wanted to publicly remind the public, if they are interested in reviewing instructional materials for world language, computer science, and CTE, the deadline is coming up. It's going to be January 16th. So if you're watching and you're interested, now's your time to respond to the review of those materials. And that is it. I am excited and looking forward to the new year.
Okay. Welcome to your first board meeting, Dr. Moore. Delighted you're here. Thank you for your words that you've offered. And I have to say that in the time I've been on the board and in the time that I've been watching the board before that, I have never seen a superintendent step off the dais to get things handled while we were actually in the meeting. Okay. So if you want an indication of the velocity with which he works, I have no idea what those conversations were, but I've never seen a superintendent do that, and I assume it was about like getting business handled. So that was kind of awesome. And speaks to the speed of light with which you intend to work.
Thank you.
That said, couple things. The town halls have been mentioned. I look forward to being at those. I look forward to a big turnout for those. So please tell your friends and neighbors and family and everybody to please show up, because it only works if people show up, and it only works if we're all in it together. And we can only have communication if people are there to communicate with. I am excited about, for the first time this coming Monday, the school board and the district will be participating in the Martin Luther King Day Parade in a way we've never done that before. So I know schools have had floats before and there's been district participation, but it's never been a concerted effort from the district and the superintendent's office with board members. So thank you. Not with school board, it has been, but has it been?
Yeah, we had a bus. We did it. I've been in it.
Okay, it didn't happen last year when I was on the board.
No.
And I don't know how or if, whatever.
It is fun to ride school floats, though, just saying.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, I'm glad to be participating, and I'm glad you guys put that together. And I think the golf cart thing is hilarious.
But Mr. Teskey,
A bucket truck, right. No,
now,
thank you.
each of you, we could put you away, that would have been,
Nope.
Yeah, we can like, yeah, not doing that.
got golf carts.
But,
Okay.
But yes, you're right, it's great we're participating.
yeah, so really, the point was simply, delighted to be participating in that and looking forward to the event, and delighted that there's a structure for that, not just us randomly walking along the street. Science fair, that's already been mentioned. The other thing that's coming up that I'm excited about is we'll have the Teacher and Support Staff Stars of the Year Gala coming up. So we'll report on that after it happens, but that's coming up before our next board meeting, and I'm looking forward to that as a way also to celebrate some of the rock stars in our district. And that's it.
Okay.
I would like to say, for the record, I have never wandered aimlessly on Martin Luther King Day. I have always been on a school float, and thank you to the schools that have allowed me to ride on your floats. I see Cassie here, you guys are always so welcoming. So board members, if you choose to not go the bucket truck route. But schools, all of our schools, not all of our schools, but a lot of our schools have floats, and the participation's been wonderful. So thank you in the past for that. A couple of things. Rail Trail 5K. If you've never participated in the Rail Trail 5K, it's the second year. Executive Roundtable is a group that does a lot for our community, especially with a focus on students and families. In fact, they sponsor the Superintendent's Art Gallery. If you haven't had a chance to walk the halls of the district, please do. There are some really beautiful pieces of art that have been framed, and we thank the Executive Roundtable for their support. The Rail Trail 5K starts at the Fellsmere Trailhead Reserve, and it starts at 8 o'clock. A lot of fun. I know a lot of teachers and students and families will be out, as well as community members. Really awesome. I want to take a minute to thank Anitra Cummings. You were writing in thanking Kristen Maddox. She does a lovely job with the Teacher of the Year organization of the Prize Patrol, but Anitra also is her partner in that and works really hard, and Anitra was with us that day. So I just wanted to mention her as well and thank her. The last thing is Pelican Island Elementary does a school-wide one school, one book read. They read, now it just flew out of my head, Ivan, I got the gorilla, and now it's just the one and only Ivan. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you very much. This semester, they are reading Cleo Edison Oliver, Playground Millionaire. We are reading it in our home out loud. I was able to read to them on video. They have community members, board members, if you want to do a chapter. I'm sure Mrs. Morey, who is here tonight, would be happy to have you. And just thank you to Pelican Island for coming out and performing. Dr. Moore was right. Best part of the night is getting to see the kids. So thank you very much. Happy New Year, and I hope everyone has a great week.
Okay. January 7th, we had a fantastic filled room here. We had a lot of community members and staff and individuals that come out. Dr. Moore was welcomed, and his wife Jennifer received a warm welcome from the community. It was standing room only, and I know I appreciate all the individuals come out. It was supposed to be a meet and greet, but we had so many individuals in the room, it just, you couldn't really get to the cookies and punch the way that we thought that it was originally set up. But it was a fantastic, just hearing the message that Dr. Moore had to give the community. There were community members that were there, and the following day at the Taxpayers Association, I appreciate Dr. Moore for coming there and meeting the individuals in the community. He was invited to come and speak to the taxpayers based on his presentation the night before. So that's coming up with Dr. Moore. It's a fantastic, on fire, really motivates you to, the great potential and possibility that we know this district has. So that was January 7th and January 8th. I do want to say I lost it. On January 9th, it was Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And I know, I saw it on Facebook, our students in our schools really did a great job in honoring our law enforcement and our first responders. And I know we have an officer here in the back that was from Storm Grove Middle, Officer Ragley. I know him personally because every time that we were out at Storm Grove, my daughter and my son attended there. He's great with developing relationships with the students, and I know all our law enforcement throughout our school district does a fantastic job. So I personally want to say thank you for all that you do, and everyone at the force there, in Indian River County Sheriff's Office, Vero Beach, across the entire district. That is all I have tonight, and I look forward to, it's going to be a great year. So I think.
Superintendent closing.
Yes.
That's right.
Go ahead.
All I have, I know we joke about board meetings here, but the board meetings in Miami are typically 9 to 10 hours long, so I feel rewarded.
Typically what?
9 to 10 hours.
Long.
Really?
Yes. Let's not make that an aspirational goal. At all.
Some things we're bringing,
I
some
know.
things we're not. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Right.
crazy.
Just that, I thank you for the effort. A special thanks to the board. You do have a sense of passion. I thought this afternoon's conversation was very fruitful. Really enjoyed the conversation around assessment and your passion and desire. When we started talking about teaching and learning was really inspiring, and just to see you guys light up in terms of what we can be as a district is motivating to me. So thank you for your effort, and continuing to look forward, and I hope everyone has the opportunity to come out this Thursday or the following Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Okay, we're adjourned at 7:53.